What's up? Ben from WODprep here, and we received so much positive feedback from our last video, which was top 5 advanced gymnastics skills from 2024. We decided to do one for weightlifting. So if you're watching this video, that means you are about to learn our top 5 tips from 2024 when it comes to weightlifting. So if you're someone who's trying to get better and more confident with the barbell, then this is a video that's gonna help you. I tasked my team with pulling out the best 5 tips that we gave this year, 2024, when it comes to weightlifting. So watch this video, go through the tips, and I'll make sure to include links to the full videos or the full place where that tip came from if you want to learn more. So with that being said, I'm stoked for 2025, but first, let's go over the top 5 weightlifting tips we had in 2024. If you want to learn how to snatch, clean, and jerk more weight, especially as a beginner, then you need to practice failing properly. I know that sounds crazy, and I don't want you to fail all the time. We don't want to develop movement patterns of failure. But in order to reduce your fear of the barbell and actually have confidence, you need to actually know how to fail properly. For a snatch specifically, we all know how to fail the barbell in front of us. It seems pretty simple. We do it all the time. Everyone's done it. But have you ever practiced failing a snatch behind you? Interestingly enough, a lot of beginners and some even advanced athletes that I've talked to here at the gym, they haven't truly practiced bailing the bar behind them, which tells me they're really not confident getting under that weight if they've never understood what it feels like to actually bail the bar behind you. It's just like a PVC pass-through. All you have to do is when that barbell starts going behind you, you release your hands, jump forward, and that barbell will safely land behind you with no injuries. It's totally fine and it's safe. Load up a little bit of weight, practice it so that when it comes time to a situation where you have to snatch a lot of weight, you're not gonna be afraid of dropping under that bar. If it's a little forward, you can dump it forward. And in the cases where it's a little bit too far back, you'll be confident bailing that bar behind you.
All right, Savannah is going to get set up in her clean. Feet are under her hips. She finds her grip, which is slightly outside of her shoulders, okay, and she is set up. We can see that her shoulders are slightly over the bar, her arms are straight, and her hips are slightly higher than her knees, okay? So Savannah, go ahead and just stand up without the bar. All right, so as you can see when she's standing, there's a space between the bar and her shins. It's cutting off the top of her shoe, or the bottom of her shoelaces, okay? And so when she goes to grab the bar, right, her shins are gonna slightly come to the bar, but the bar is gonna slightly come back too. So go ahead and reach down and grab it. So you're gonna see that lat engagement comes on, okay? The bar is nice and tight, and she's touching, right here. And so the bar has slid back a little bit over the midfoot, and this is what's gonna keep that whole foot pressure that we've talked about this entire time. Basically, once we get set up, go ahead and get tight, boom. As soon as she moves, the bar is gonna move. All the things we talked about, boom, break the floor. All right, stop. Notice how nothing changed. It's an identical position as 3 inches below. Nothing changed. She broke the floor. She's a couple inches off the ground. And from here, it looks the exact same. The only thing that started to happen, go ahead and come back down, was that her knees started to move back. And that's the path that's gonna allow the bar to stay very close. All right, Savannah's gonna get set up again. Okay, and now we're going to break the floor again. Give me a nice pause. Good, all the same things. Now she's gonna continue to the knee. Boom, nothing has changed. Torso angle has stayed the same, okay? She hasn't started opening up. She didn't get forward. She didn't lose her angle. But as you notice, her shins are straight now, whereas on the floor, come back to the ground, they're not. Her knees are over the bar. When we're on the floor, set up, the knees need to be over the bar. If your shins are straight on the floor, your weight's gonna be back and your shoulders are gonna be over the bar too far and your hips are gonna be way too high. There's no way for us to be in this position and have a good pulling and setup. Okay, so we wanna think of bringing those shins a little bit forward. Okay, that bar's over the midfoot. Let's go ahead and pull to the knee. Good, boom, knees are straight, the knees are out of the way. She's gonna go to the hang, right there. She starts to open up, okay, and then from here, she's gonna do a power clean and you're gonna see that torso, go ahead, right? We're gonna see that torso get very vertical fast as the bar gets to the power position. Go ahead and put the bar down, okay? And she gets those shoulders behind the bar quickly, okay?
Hopefully the tips you've learned have already been helpful. One thing I wanted to talk about really quick is that if you want to get stronger and lift more weight, aka you want to get better at weightlifting, one thing that's really important is to focus on your sleep, because the gains are actually made outside of the gym and really when you go to bed. So when you're sleeping, that's when your muscles are repairing. If you don't sleep well, then I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what helped me sleep better. I used to sleep really, really light. I'd wake up constantly in the middle of the night, have a hard time falling and staying asleep. And I started taking a supplement called Thirdsy. And I'm not a big supplement guy, I will admit, but I promise you, I started taking Thirdsy and I sleep like a rock. My girlfriend's taking it, my mom's taking it. Like, so many people in my life are now taking Thirdsy because of how well it worked for me. If you want to check it out and see if it works for you like it did for me, just scan the QR code here or go to thirdsy.com, use the code WODprep15, and you'll save some money on this. Basically one of the only supplements I actually believe in. I rarely take supplements, but this one works. And I love that it doesn't have any melatonin, so I don't wake up feeling groggy. I wake up feeling refreshed, and I don't have to chug a half gallon of cold brew coffee every single morning to wake up. So if you want to grab it, go get it. Use the code WODprep15. You'll be supporting them. Great company, great people. You'll be supporting WODprep. And you will be supporting the most important factor when it comes to getting stronger and fitter, and that's recovery, sleep. All right, let's keep going. I'm getting the barbell to my hip, so stand up all the way. You can see my shoulders are behind the bar. I'm just standing up. And all we're doing is practicing with a slight dip. My knees are bent, my torso stays vertical. So I'm here, and then from this position, you probably want to practice with some light weight or no weight on the bar, is I'm driving my hips aggressively up and landing in the snatch. So you can see my torso is vertical, slight bend in the hips, slight bend in the knees, and jump, and I'm landing under the bar. This drill is really good for learning how to develop power from the hips, because you need to be really explosive, but it also teaches you where the bar should be making contact on your full snatch. So when I do the high hang and the bar is settled right at the crease of my hip, you know, for me it's like lower abdomen, crease of my hip, this is the position, ideally, that we want the bar to make contact in before we actually do our full snatch. So this is a great drill to figure out where that bar should be making contact. And two, it's also helping you learn to finish that pull and really get a lot of momentum generated into the bar from that final drive of the legs. A couple really common issues that a lot of people do, and this is just a different version of the high hang, is a lot of people when they're doing a high hang snatch, they're just trying to lift as much weight as possible, get a good score on the leaderboard, is they'll go like this. And they really lean forward and kind of catapult the bar forward. So they'll go like this, they'll dip, and then you'll see people really swing their hips. You'll be able to generate a lot more momentum, but that's not the drill we're working on. Make sure that you keep your shoulders behind the bar. Don't allow them to come forward to generate that momentum. As you get the bar overhead however you want. Now, this one can definitely be done with a decent amount of weight, and sometimes I take this from the rack, but all I'm doing is I'm squatting all the way down to the very bottom of my overhead squat, and I'm hanging out here for up to 10 seconds, really focusing on leaning forward, leaning back, finding my stability, finding my positioning, being able to breathe, talk, and then stand. I know it seems overly simplistic, but the bottom line is a lot of people fail their snatch because they rush out of the bottom. They get the bar overhead, they lock it out, they drop, and they're like, I don't like it down here. So they panic and they try to stand up too quickly when they're not fully balanced, pushing the bar forward or behind, or just causing them to fail however they want to fail. So being comfortable in an awkward position with a decent amount of weight, you can make these pretty heavy. Do an overhead squat, get all the way down to the bottom. And when I say the bottom, I don't mean barely below parallel. I want you to squat as low as you can go, even bottom out. Maybe not even maintaining perfect squat position, but bottom out, because usually when I PR my snatch, I'm catching it all the way at the bottom. But luckily, because I've trained overhead squat holds, even at the very bottom, I can find that balance, I can get comfortable. I'm practicing making sure those arms are really locked out, and it's helped me tremendously improve my snatch.
position. So these are the main points. We want this heel up. We want this knee at 90 degrees and this hip shooting straight down. We want that front shin straight, okay, and that front knee at 90 degrees as well. Okay, so go ahead and stand back up. The last thing there, and something you couldn't 100% see, is from her starting position to her finish, her feet got a little bit wider. And so what that does is that creates a wider base of support, better balance. If we get too narrow, right, a lot of weight overhead, okay, we don't want a tightrope walk, okay? So from our starting position, the same position as push press, strict press, jerk, clean and snatch, right under our shoulders. We start from there, we dip that we talked about in the push jerk, then we're up, and then we find our split. Savannah's gonna get into our position. Yep. Perfect, okay? And so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna tape front of the toes, okay, and behind the toes. And so what we're going to do, this is her start position, okay? So we have tape there, and to find our front foot, how far we want it to go, we're gonna take one full foot length, okay? And then one more full foot length, and then that's where we want her front foot to go. Okay, so the front foot is going to go out 2 foot lengths. I got it. Okay, all right, and then it's going to go out 1 foot length to the outside. So there and boom. So now we've created that wider base of support. So 2 feet, 1 foot out for the front. Now come back and bring, you can go ahead and walk it back in. And then our back one, we're going to walk 1 foot length back, and then 1.5. So now give me a half length to my finger. Boom, good. And then remember, so that's, we put it where the toe is gonna go. It's kind of the simplest.
Do I go out?
Go ahead, yep. And then we're gonna go out the 1 foot length as well, okay? So go ahead and just kind of walk it into the split. Good, money. Her feet even get a little bit wider, and that's okay. This is just a general map of where we want you to be. Okay, so back foot is right on the tape, back knee is bent, front shin is straight, torso is vertical, okay, and she's nice and low. Okay, that's the other thing. We want to make sure this receiving position is lower than standing tall, because that's the whole purpose that we do any type of powers or jerks, is because our goal is to get under the bar. Okay, all right, go ahead and recover. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're going to talk about the recovery. Notice how she pushed her front foot back first. That's very, very important. Let's go ahead and split again. Good. All right, and so from here, nailed it. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to move the front foot back to our starting position in 2 slides, and then bring our front foot forward. Okay, it's very simple. The whole goal of the slide is to minimize torso movement and minimize bar movement. Okay, so we're doing that. We push back initially because we don't want the bar to dump forward. Okay, go ahead and dip and drive. Okay, her back foot is moved a little bit further back than where our tape is, and her front foot is back, but it's almost balanced. So we found the right distance, but for Savannah, it's just shifted back a little bit, and that's okay because, again, this is a generalized framework of where we should most likely have the feet for 99% of people, and then some people are going to be a little bit different. And then she's going to recover. Good. And then as always, whenever we're going into a jerk or power or snatch or clean, timing is most important. Her feet hit and her elbows are locking out at the same time. We're going to do it one more time. Show that split jerk, dip and pause and drive, split, timing, elbows, feet, and she's going to recover. 1, 2, and down.
All right, I hope that you liked those 5 weightlifting tips. If you're someone who really struggles with weightlifting, a couple things you can do. Number 1, you can go to the description and look for the links for those deeper, bigger videos where we pulled some of these tips from. That could help. But if you're someone who really wants to make 2025 the year where they actually get better at weightlifting, then you should check out the links below for WODprep Weightlifting, which is our full 8-week online course that teaches you exactly how to snatch, clean, and jerk step by step. It's one of our best-selling courses. It's backed by a full money-back guarantee, and it's awesome. We have tons of testimonials from people who are going through or have gone through the course. So if you want to check that out and truly take your weightlifting to the next level, all the workouts are designed to be easily added into your normal training, like some accessory work. You watch the videos, you do the work, you improve your weightlifting. It's that simple. It's 3 days per week, about 30 minutes per session, and I guarantee it's gonna work for you. So if you wanna check it out, go down below, or the link on the screen, or wherever it is, go to WODprep Weightlifting, join it. I promise you won't regret it. And with that, smash the subscribe button, thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't, and I will see you in 2025, where I'm gonna continue to do everything in my power to bring you free content that makes you a better athlete, so that you can RX everything, have fun in the gym, and fall in love with fitness. I'll see you in 2025.